On this week's show, Hill Weekend, Organ Vespers, visitors from Emanuel School, and fall exhibits at the Gruss Center of Visual Art. Lawrenceville's 10-minute newscast begins right now.
From the studios inside the Lawrenceville School's historic Pop Hall, this is L10 with Aiden Duffy.
Hello and welcome to this week's show. Lawrenceville's Board of Trustees selected ARC, Architectural Resources Cambridge, to design a new fieldhouse and dining center complex, which is a centerpiece of the school's new strategic plan. The Boston-based, nationally recognized and award-winning firm has worked extensively with colleges and independent schools to create athletic and student life facilities. Congratulations to the girls' varsity field hockey team, which captured the Triple Crown with their 2-1 Maple victory over the Hill School on November 1st, beat Blair 3-1 to win the state championship, and on October 21st, they defeated Princeton High School for their Mercer County title. The boys' varsity water polo team won the Garden State Water Polo Tournament on October 28th. Big Red defeated Pingree 15-12 in the finals for the title. 7 members of the Lawrenceville class of 2018 signed NCAA National Letters of Intent on November 8th. Congratulations to the lacrosse players Annabelle Albert and Mason Bonney, who will both compete for Georgetown University. Jake Moss, William Rice, and Hannah Scher, also lacrosse players, will continue their careers as student athletes at the University of Notre Dame, the University of Richmond, and the College of William and Mary, respectively. In addition, Tess Maloney will play field hockey for the Buckeyes at Ohio State University, and ice hockey player Annika Asplund is headed to Lindenwood University. History Master Kara Hyson was named the school's coordinator of Arabic language and culture programs. In addition to overseeing Lawrenceville's Arabic programs, Hyson will serve as Lawrenceville's representative to the 8 schools' Arabic language program. In this capacity, she will mentor students and act as a faculty advisor to the Model Arab League, as well as head Middle East travel programs for students. On November 3rd, Lawrenceville's annual Big Red Giving Day, trustees, alumni, parents, and friends raised $1,411,909 to support the Lawrenceville Fund. Since 1887, the annual Hill Weekend has been a highlight of the fall season. Now, as then, Laurentians come together to celebrate one of Lawrenceville's oldest traditions. Senior news correspondent Annie Hait brings us this report.
The Lawrenceville Hill rivalry is the 5th oldest high school rivalry in the United States, and it all started with a friendly football game in 1887. Since then, the event has evolved into a quintessential Lawrenceville tradition. Hill Weekend kicks off with the annual bonfire, where the entire school community gathers to celebrate our sports teams and get spirits high for the next day's competition. Originally a fall celebratory event, the bonfire transformed into the pre-Hill party that sets the scene for a weekend of loud cheering and tough competition. This year's bonfire focused on uniting the community and appreciating the individuals who comprise Lawrenceville's fall varsity teams. The individuals who together will battle Hill.
So Bree, what have you been doing to lead the school into this exciting weekend?
Well, I mean, we just finished our pep rally / bonfire, so I think that was pretty exciting. Keeping the energy up and sending out emails, making sure people know where the games are, knowing what the times are, because I feel like the school is pretty amped up already. They know that this is a big rivalry. They know that this is Hill that we're playing against, so we got to come out, we got to show out. So I think that just reminding kids when they can come and where they can support will keep the energy high.
Yeah, and what's your favorite part of the weekend, Bree?
Well, I mean, my favorite part as of right now was the pep rally, because watching Kobe ride up the crowd was so much fun. I really love that. And I think overall, I like what I'm seeing right now, looking off into the distance, seeing kids just jamming out at the remnants of the bonfire, having fun.
The main event of Hill Weekend is the sports. A majority of Lawrenceville's fall sports teams play Hill, and all count to the overall score. The school with the most wins is the victor.
Congratulations, girls.
How did it feel to cap off your 5th form year with a win against Hill?
Well, we have, of course,
a very intense rivalry against Hill, but it meant more to me because this was for the Triple Crown, meaning that if we won this, we would have won the Maple Championship, and we have already won the MCT tournament and the state tournament. And the Maple Championship is our third crown, and Lizzie and I won the Triple Crown our freshman year, and this is just bookends. We had a taste of it, but we didn't necessarily know how much it meant, and we've worked incredibly hard this season, and it was completely a team effort, and we just love each other so much. There's no better way than to celebrate with this victory.
The entire community unites to watch football, the origin of our school's rivalry and our homecoming game. Hill Weekend draws out every member of the community to take part in an old Lawrenceville tradition.
Stand down, guys, come on! Stand down, guys! Come on, defense! One more time!
Accept the cup.
Continuing their winning streak, Lawrenceville football defeated Hill with a score of 16-7. Congratulations to all the winning teams whose wins secured this year's victory. The weekend concluded with the annual homecoming dance, where students from all forms donned their chapel dress and celebrated victory over Hill. While some Hill Weekend traditions were lost along the way, what remains is enduring unity and loyalty.
Lawrenceville celebrated the 500th anniversary of the Reformation on October 29th with Organ Vespers. The Woods Memorial Organ, a significant example of the neo-Baroque aesthetic, was built in 1968 and fully restored in 2010. Our correspondent Jessica Bianco caught up with Lawrenceville School chaplain Sue Ann Morrow and has this report.
I'm at the Edith Memorial Chapel for Organ Vespers celebrating the 500th anniversary of the Reformation. Can you tell us about the history of the Woods Memorial Organ?
Christmas Eve in 1968, Janie and Henry Woods called Bruce McClellan, who was the headmaster then, and said to him, "We'd like to give you an organ for the Lawrenceville School Chapel." And this organ became quite a unique organ for not just secondary schools, but for any school. This beautiful organ became a masterpiece and a landmark. And then in 2008 and 9, the organ was completely taken out of the chapel. Scaffolding was erected, and the people from Le Tourneau came down, and they took the whole thing out, and they completely restored it.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the mighty fortress?
Martin Luther, the founder of the Reformation, did a lot of wonderful things, like he translated the Bible into the German vernacular, and he also wrote a number of hymns. I think A Mighty Fortress is his most famous hymn. It's certainly the one that's sung the most. We're going to sing it in Organ Vespers today. And then for the postlude, Mr. Goman is going to play a chorale on A Mighty Fortress that is composed by Pachelbel.
Can you talk a little bit more about the tradition of Organ Vespers at Lawrenceville?
Mr. Goman and I knew that we wanted to find ways to make the organ welcoming and engaging for the community, for faculty, staff, and students. And so we created Organ Vespers, which we have 3 times a year.
Thank you, Jessica. In October, Lawrenceville hosted students from Emanuel School in London. The students stopped by our studios to give us their impressions of Lawrenceville and tell us about the projects they worked on while here.
My name is Sadie Sofro.
Leo Zachariak.
Isabella Hopkins-Gay.
Charlie Kendrick. I'm from London, England, and I go
to Emanuel School. I think what brings me to the States is that it's just a really amazing place. The culture is so interesting here.
Well, so Emanuel sends a couple students over to Lawrenceville to get a general idea of the differences in the education systems and the general culture of America.
I'm studying basically the effects of Charlottesville in Lawrenceville and the Princeton area.
While I'm here, I'm studying sciences because I want to be a doctor when I'm older.
I picked a gun control to study because after the Las Vegas shooting, I thought it'd be quite interesting to see what New Jersey's attitude towards gun control is.
I'm studying the differences in rowing and the general attitudes between school, uni and elite level and the pathways, differences between the two countries.
And finally tonight, correspondent Lily Murphy explores the current exhibits at the Gruss Center of Visual Arts.
So what was the main idea behind this faculty exhibition?
Every year, practicing Lawrenceville art teachers put their work up on display here at Lawrenceville. And many teachers that teach at Lawrenceville are professional artists and they exhibit outside of Lawrenceville. This is a chance for us all to display our work right here on campus.
And what can you tell me about some of the faculty artists who participated in the exhibition?
Let me give you a quick tour. Okay, well, let's start off right here. This painting was created by Alan Fitzpatrick. He's the head of the visual art department, and Mr. Fitzpatrick is really interested in the play of light, and most of the work that he does is outdoors. This was painted in Maine, and the style of painting that he's really interested in is called plein air. Brian Danielle has been teaching at Lawrenceville for about 30 years, and he teaches foundational art classes along with a series of other classes. He has two distinct phases in his art career. Early on, he focused on capturing beauty. The second chapter in his career was to use found objects to create what effectively are little stories within these frames. Stuart Robertson is a recent Lawrenceville graduate who subsequently went to Davidson College, and he's worked in all kinds of spheres since then as a graphic designer and other roles. But his real interest is in large-scale paintings and indeed mural art. So his focus is really in bringing art out into a community.
What can you tell us about your work specifically?
So my work, I've trained and gone to school. I have a master's in scenography. So it's a very rare degree here in America. It's a very British sort of sensibility. So I have trained in scenery, lighting, and costume design. So the work that's on display here is both scenic design and costume design that I've done from some time in graduate school all the way to the present.
So we're in the history class, Africa Then and Now, and right now we're talking about African history. So when we started this project, we were talking about like Africa before the 1300s and the great empires that there were.
So this is known locally as the Ngadiam Wash. It's one of 3 masks created in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and they're danced for initiation ceremonies, which is where a young male goes through puberty. It's sort of a celebration, and they're also danced at funerals. So all 3 of these that we have at the exhibit have been used before, which is kind of interesting.
Thank you, Lily. That is our show for Friday, November 10th. From all of us here at L10, thank you for watching, good luck on finals, and good night.